I am an AIR co-chair for Immigrants' Rights and Reconciliation. I do advocate for immigrants. I'm working in the medical field. I'm active in my church community, as well as just honestly advocating for people that are minorities or immigrants. I got into activism honestly because I ended up in ICE custody. I was actually going through a custody court, or family court you would say, for my daughter. And in turn of going through that, it was geared by racism, which at the time I'm still wrapping my mind around that, but a juvenile officer who pertainingly just didn't like me for my skin color, and I was made aware of that and just kind of noticed it as the case went on. Find an old insurance ticket from Grandview, Missouri. This place for like family court was taking place in Clay County. So when she found an insurance ticket, they were sending it to the wrong address, my mom's address in Nexa when we used to live on Renner. So I was not getting them. I was not getting the notifications, which if anyone knows, that creates a bench warrant. She was digging at this point. She was digging for anything that she could possibly use in the case to throw the case and win the case. Honestly, after she found out that was her golden ticket, she went ahead and got me arrested. She tried once. The sheriff at that time said, no, I'm not going to do that. She then tried again at a second court hearing, as a TPR court hearing, which is also known as termination of parental rights, which is what she was trying to win at the time. Basically what she did is she got me arrested on the insurance ticket. I mean, the systemic issue bridging, the family court services officers as well as the foster care system and immigration is that, so the cycle is you get arrested, right? Off of a family traffic ticket, whatever. And then you get put in jail. And then once you get put in jail, let's say you have children, you don't have family here, and then your children, where are they going to go? They take your children, they put your children in the foster care system. So now you're fighting to get out of the immigration detention center or just jail in general. You get out of the jail or immigration detention center, then you have to fight another system, which is the family court system, to get your children back. And the reason for my insurance being expired wasn't because I just didn't have insurance. I totaled that car, and canceling that insurance and not getting the notifications obviously just made the matters worse. So basically after that happened, I thought I was gonna get released. I did not get released. The sheriff told me that somebody at Clay County had informed ICE of my DACA lapsing. I was told that I was just gonna be asked some questions and then that's it. Once they got there, they asked me, are you familiar, your DACA is expired? I said, yes. I explained to them the situation. They say, oh, we see financial disparities all the time. Me thinking they're gonna understand, because then I was still in cuffs and said, oh, you're gonna have to keep those on. We're just gonna take you down to our headquarters to ask you more questions. After that, I'm smart enough to realize that's not it was a red flag for me after that. I had answered all their questions. There was nothing else that was relevant for my DACA. They got me down to their headquarters. Once they get me down there, they started asking me questions about what's my mom's first and last name, what are my children's names, family members, as to I'm not answering that. That's not relevant to my case. They started asking me, what border did you cross? I kind of laughed because I was just like, you mean I flew here? And it's everything's in my DACA file, because to be able to qualify for DACA, you can't have a criminal background. You do go through FBI fingerprinting. You have to pass that. You have to have entered the United States at a certain point in time. They make you go through all the qualifications to qualify, and I've been renewing my DACA since 2012 or 13, around that time. So for them to state that I crossed the border, I don't know if they were trying to be funny with the stereotype, but I just kind of stared at him and I was like, I flew here. He's like, no, you didn't. I'm like, yes, I did. It's in my DACA paperwork. My passport is copied into my DACA paperwork. You can look it up. And we were also down the street from the USCIS building that we do biometrics for DACA. They could have acquired that paperwork. They didn't. And I said, can't you look on the computer? Oh, we don't have access to those files. I'm like, okay, well, yeah, I did fly here. I didn't cross a border. I'm from Kenya, Africa. There's no way I can quote unquote cross a border, and then after that, basically they let me know that I was going to get transferred to Caldwell County with no bond. I asked why I wasn't getting bond. They said because I wasn't giving them, my mom's name, my children's names, because I told them that's no relevant to my DACA, as well as I told them that I wouldn't sign any of the paperwork they were giving me without counsel. So what they did, scratched through the signature portion where I would sign and put refuse to sign on each one of the documents, which to anybody that knows, like, that's going to go in front of a judge. If a judge sees that somebody refused to sign instead of just refusing to sign without counsel, that just looks bad. Somebody who pays their taxes, contributes to the community, doesn't have a criminal background, is yet sitting next to people who are there for drug and gun conspiracies. I want accountability for judges, officers, juvenile officers, caseworkers. You know, it seems like the police force, also with just our system, like judges, DCF, those entities are very well protected. And when it comes to issues like this, they should not be protected like that. You should not protect violence. You should not protect hatred. You should not protect just such vile, like, things that are being done. That's not what because you're not going to sit there and protect a rapist. You're not going to sit there and protect like a predator or a murderer or serial killers. So why are you protecting somebody who the title is just the only thing that's giving them the credibility that they have? If you take that title off that person and you just treat them as an individual, they would be murderers. They would be people who have done things that are illegal as far as falsified information in the court of law. It seems like it just needs to change overall. And so it's not something that we need to fix necessarily, but something that we need to just completely gut it and change it and revamp it, because it was never really built for like Black people or African people or people that are minorities to live through this type of system. It was geared off of racism. For immigration, I would say just immigration reform and giving, immigrants a path to citizenship. That's been something that's been hard for America to do for the past couple of years, is an actual comprehensive plan. And I feel like a policy solution would be to make sure that the wrongs that have been done can be corrected, because without a legislative that states that, let's say, like, from example, from my point, like, my parental rights can be reversed and given back to me, that gives it less chance for people like Heather Kendall or, the department to not get away with the things that they have. Because that would state that, yes, people in this department, people in this type of job and like line of job can make mistakes. Because at the end of the day, not having those legislatives in place that can have a reversal on parental rights states that basically you're dealing with people who are flawless. They can't make mistakes in making decisions when it comes to separating children from their families, and that's just not okay, because there's no way that can happen. We're all human beings. We all make mistakes, especially in our thought process and everything. So honestly, with that being said, there needs to be like some type of bill that holds them accountable, but also rights the wrongs that are done.